Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and yeah, we're racing the new Nissan Z car in A-Class, and yeah, this is a car that I'm a big fan of. So yeah, as you can see by the stats, it's been quite heavily improved, especially in terms of handling and braking, and yeah, we now have 500 horsepower and 437 pounds-feet of torque from its heavily upgraded 3-litre twin turbocharged V6 engine. So yeah, weighs less than it did originally, has better brakes, better suspension, wider tyres. It now weighs 3,187 pounds, which is 349 pounds less than it weighed originally, while having, you know, an extra 100 horsepower and an extra 87 pounds-feet of torque. So yeah, had quite heavy upgrades, and yeah, it's still able to be in A-Class, which yeah, is quite impressive, to be honest, because it was hardly low down on A-Class. It was certainly not only 700 or 600 or whatever it is bottom end of its A-Class. So yeah, it's done a really good job in terms of upgrading this car. Hopefully it's a good balance of speed, acceleration and handling and braking. But yeah, you never know with cars on this series how they're gonna, or on this game, how they're gonna do online. Just because they perform well in, you know, driver car races or single player races or anything like that, does not necessarily mean they're going to perform well here. So yeah, I imagine I'm the only one here with rear wheel drive as well, so might not be the best off the line, but hopefully we'll make up for it when it comes to the corners. And at the end of the day, 500 horsepower is nothing really to mock, quite frankly, because that is quite a lot of horsepower, and obviously it's got a hell of a lot of torque as well. I think I fully upgraded the turbochargers, and then I've got something else to stick with the exhaust to make it nice and 500 horsepower. So yeah, could well see some turbo lag at some points because of that, but I've got a turbocharged car. I like them to have big turbochargers on, so certainly gets up and goes on the straight line, that's for sure. Guess 500 horsepower is hard to argue with. Obviously, there are cars in A-Class that you can have more power than that. I know there's the Lamborghini guy on a Spider, definitely has more power than this, but that's quite a stock car in this class to be racing in. So, and it's not a car that we're dealing with here now. So, goodbye GTO. Just a pair of GTRs up front. Just realised it's all, well, nearly all Japanese lineup here. Something like Jaguar, that is the non-Japanese car. These two Nissans up front are fighting it out. It's looking like it's going to be a Nissan 123 though, at least. How fast we're going. Oh dear. No, not leave that. Luckily we were battling for third. Yeah, didn't realise how quick we were going, and by the time I did, it was too late to really slow down properly for that corner. Quite a sedate car, this. It's not an overly exuberant sports car. But third place for my first outing on an online race is pretty decent, I find. Only one hiccup with that wall, but even despite that we still kept third place. So yeah, overall impressed by this car on its first outing, and especially given, you know, it's my first time properly racing it in this upgraded form. So yeah, And yeah, the acceleration isn't massively improved over the standard car. We're only less than 0.2 of a second quicker to 60, as we can now do 0 to 60 in 4.298 seconds, whereas the standard car can do it in 4.486 seconds, so just under 0.2 of a second quicker than the standard car. But there is a major improvement over it in terms of 0 to 100 time, as we can now do that in 8.962 seconds, which, yeah, the standard car could do it in 10.583 seconds, so we're more than 1.5 seconds quicker than we were in stock form. And we're marginally better at the top end as well, now being able to do 205 miles an hour compared to the stock cars 191. So yeah, although to be honest I really don't expect us to even get up to 190 on these kind of courses. We got up to about 172 I believe on that race there, and it's easily one of the more, you know, fast-paced circuit point-to-point races on this game. So yeah, I don't expect that to be a routine thing with this car, but yeah, it's definitely a car that you can do a hell of a lot with just in the space of its stock class. So yeah, no idea how far you could really push it until it becomes not really that competitive by going into another higher class. Because obviously you could go with all-wheel drive, you could go with even more power, you could go with an engine swap, you could put, you know, the aero packages on it, anything like that really. But yeah, we're in a far more packed lobby this time, so not just the Japanese that are reigning supreme now. We've got German cars. But yeah, they're the only real addition. There are more, seemingly more Japanese cars though, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we've got like some Porsche, Mercedes. Not often to see anyone in an SLK, that's for sure. As per usual, my lack of all-wheel drive does not help me off the line, but it's only a small part of the race, so not too much of a big impact. Fellow Z car. Did not realise that. It's always interesting seeing someone else in the same car as you, because they're naturally never going to upgrade it the same way that you will. There's always going to be some slight difference. And since I rarely ever use someone else's pre-built tunes on these races, or generally in this game, I'm not going to go for someone that's not exactly the same way as me. There's always going to be some slight differences, especially in terms of weight or horsepower. See, how did that guy not get a slow down wall collision thing? Quite clearly bounced off it. Again, maybe give that time, hopefully. Seems to be the most consistent thing though, because I usually get it no matter what. Potentially hitting the wall or otherwise. Oh, I got lost out of place despite getting overtaken. Lagging out though, majorly. Well, looks like we're going to have to settle for fourth this time around. But to be honest, considering how chaotic that lobby was compared to the previous one, I felt I did pretty well, and especially considering that's a far more of a handling circuit. Yes, I have good handling, but with the way that I've set it up with the power, it's not got the greatest of acceleration initially. It's more of a mid to high range accelerating kind of car, so yeah, couldn't really make the most of the handling in some areas of that, but still, good lap time, best lap time as well, ahead of the person that came in first, no less, in terms of my best lap time, so I can take that small crumb of comfort there. But yeah, overall this is performing pretty well, I feel. Certainly done better than some other cars that I've tried out on these races. The Renaults and the MG were particularly great, but yeah, certainly doing a bit better here. So let's move on to this third and final race. Hopefully it's a bit more of a bit longer and a bit more competitive this time around. But yeah, I do really like this car, and we have another Japanese car at the end of the current C series that I'm really looking forward to. It's a Toyota Sports 800, or the Toyota 800 Sports. I'm not sure which way they put it round, but yeah, it's basically a K car. It's a sports car within the K car rules that were in Japan. The rules at the time in the 60s, because obviously they have changed over the decades ever since. But yeah, sports car within the K car rules of the time. 1966, I think. Yeah, that's a really interesting kind of car, really, and I really do like my underpowered small cars. And yeah, that is another one of those. I really desperately do miss the Subaru 360 that we had on Forza Motorsport 7, but which again is another kind of those K car vehicles. But yeah, I'm glad we're getting a brand new car to the series from Toyota. So yeah, really looking forward to that. We will do a review of it, but that is for a few more weeks. A couple more weeks at least, I think. We've got more power than the yellow Z car. Oh crap, I always miss that corner. I do that every time. I never learn when it comes to this circuit. And it's very difficult to get it really correct again. Well, we buggered this race up now, haven't we? It's not even letting us rewind anymore. What's going on? Oh. Well, we're definitely going to do another race after this at least, because yeah, that's really annoying me. Yeah, it's a very difficult corner to get right, that, especially if you don't realise what's coming up. It does look like just like a normal kind of corner, but you take into account the kind of speeds that you're getting up to before the corner and the people that you're going up against, that you have to take into account so you don't bash into them. And yeah, it just gets very, very hectic at that point. So yeah, this is a bit of a washout of a race, unfortunately. But you did see the potential of the car in the first, what, 30% of the race or whatever. We weren't overtaking, we weren't faster than the other yellow Z car that was there alongside us on the podium, on the start line. So yeah, this is definitely a car that is competitive, I feel. Maybe not the best, but then again, I rarely ever make a car or go for the car that is going to be either the guaranteed winner or has a high chance of winning. It's more about the cars that I enjoy driving more than the ones that are likely to win. And yeah, this is easily one of my favourite cars, well, especially modern sports cars to drive on this game. Yeah, after the relative disappointment of the new Toyota Supra, this is definitely made up for Japan as far as I'm concerned. If I haven't, with my poor start on this game, on this race. Definitely a pretty rapid car though in a straight line, no doubt about that. does make me think that they might well do something even more sporty with this car in terms of a new version of it, or a more powerful version of it. I mean, come on, Nissan do have Nismo after all, and imagine a Nissan Z Nismo version of this. It's clearly an engine with plenty of potential to get more power out of it. So yeah, I am looking forward to seeing whether or not that is something that would happen. But yeah, we are actually going to leave it here for today, because yeah, even though we have somehow gotten back up to third place after being in fourth after the second race, we are going to leave it there. I am really impressed by this car. I do hope you're enjoying driving it as much as I am, stock or otherwise, and yeah, I hope you're enjoying the game still as well, because I know I am. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.